Okay, we are recording to YouTube. You guys can start anytime you're ready.
Our chairman's not up yet.
Did you hear me, Ron, say that Herb's trying to connect?
Oh, Herb, no, I didn't hear that.
And I resent him the link, Ron, you just sent me, the one that says join meeting. So I don't know if I don't see that he's gotten through yet, but just FYI.
Give him a minute. There he is. No, that's Greg coming in again.
Okay, is it there again?
No, there you go.
No,
Okay,
where?
is Sylvia on? I don't see Sylvia.
She's there.
Okay, so we have a full board, certainly a quorum. We can start the agenda, everybody.
Do we have Herb yet?
We got to have Greg Gilsman on there.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Can anybody see me? No. No, I don't know why. I can see various pictures.
It's okay. We know what you look like.
All right. Let's start the meeting. We'll go through the agenda as published and approved in the minutes of the June 11 meeting. Linda sent out a copy of those minutes. Has everybody seen them?
Yes. Yes.
We have a motion to approve them.
I moved to approve, but I wasn't there.
Can you motion to approve those minutes?
Connie just did move it. Connie moved it and I'll second it.
Okay. All approved that we're done.
Aye.
Aye.
The next agenda, the formal approval of the new tree plan, which is repeatedly distributed. We just need to vote formally to approve that tree plan. Can we hear a motion from any member of the board?
I move that we approve the 2020-2021 forestation plan as presented.
And I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to call your attention to an email that Laura Taylor sent out a little earlier today, saying that once we had approved the tree plan, for each board member to print out a copy of the last page where your signature goes, sign it, either mail it to City Hall or drop it in the box by gazebo horse, and that will then all the signatures will go onto the document for forwarding to council. If any doubt about what to do, check Laura's email, which came out this morning. Next agenda item is I have as mayor's update on council budget action, but not only do we have a lucky to have a mayor here, we have Greg here. He can fill us in, both of you guys.
Well, we have had, Greg, help me out. We've had a regular meeting and then we had 2 special meetings. Isn't that right? Yeah.
Yes.
The last special meeting was earlier this week. At the first special meeting, the council discussed the first page of the 15-page layout of the proposed budget items, consisting solely of revenue. And they spent the entire meeting talking about the items of revenue. At the next meeting, they went into the administrative portion of the budget, the administrative expenses. I'm not clear if they're finished with that. I don't think they are. And they've scheduled their next meeting for July the 7th. So it's going to be a while. Now, I had given them a proposed budget the beginning of May, but it's not going to, we're not going to have a budget, a new budget for the new fiscal year by the time July 1st gets here. I don't know how short or long that process is going to take, but I would be surprised if we have a new budget before the month of August. What happens under the law in that case is that we operate under the previous year's budget, which is the year we're in right now, just finishing up. We just take that budget and go back to square one and start implementing that budget all over again. So there's that. The other thing the council has not done, and I'm not particularly concerned about how quickly they move on the budget, but I am concerned about their not having even had a first reading at this point of the ordinance that levies real estate taxes. That's more than half of the city's revenue every year. So that has to get done pretty quickly. And we're not going to have another council meeting until the 7th of July. So they're going to have to, in my opinion, they're going to have to act on that quickly. So that's, Greg, you want to add anything as a member of the council?
You did a great job, John. I think your summary is perfect. I really don't have anything to add. I agree with everything you said.
All right. We had a little bit of excitement in Prospect last night. We had a caravan come through here about 11:45, and I would like to, bear with me, I'd like to read to you the lengthy email I got from Chief Jeff Sherrard this morning about it. The protest caravan did pass through Prospect last night around 11:45 p.m. Approximately 100 cars were involved. The participants honked horns, used bullhorns, and shouted from vehicles along the way. The caravan, as it has done for weeks, occupied all lanes of traffic as they moved about.
Wow.
They traveled east on River Road from downtown. We were notified as the procession was approaching the area of River Road and Lime Kiln Lane. The procession continued east on River Road, turned on to Timber Ridge Drive. That's, of course, where Kroger is. A few cars peeled off and held traffic at the intersection of Timber Ridge and 42 to allow for the caravan to turn west onto 42. That's back in the direction of downtown. Our officers contacted Kroger in advance to let them know the protesters were approaching our area. Kroger decided to send their employees home for the evening. They were the stock crew because the store was closed as a precaution. The caravan bypassed the shopping center, and there was no attempt at looting or other property destruction or vandalism. Our officers monitored the caravan as it passed through the area, along with a few Metro police cars. As the caravan passed over the Harrods Creek Bridge, someone in a vehicle fired approximately 10 gunshots into the air. There was no commotion associated with the shots, and it didn't affect the caravan at all. Officers were too far away to identify the exact vehicle or location where the shots were fired. The caravan continued west on US 42 to Seminary Road and then turned south. We have had no reports of property damage of any kind within the city limits of Prospect. Other than being inconvenienced for 20 minutes or so, the protest passed through without a lot of trouble for us. Reports on Facebook and Nextdoor have once again been totally overblown. I have spoken with a few news, this is the chief speaking, with a few news age outlets so far this morning and a few residents as well, nearly all of them due to the misinformation being put out on social media. So that's what we had going on just before midnight last night. I've had just a couple of emails from residents about it. I've had a call from Scott Reed, who's our Metro councilman. Told him everything I know. I've also asked Laura, who worked this afternoon with the chief, and putting together an e-blast to send out to all our residents to give them an accurate description of the situation. Other topics, again, I've had no information about the LDG proposed projects, either the one by the Kroger gas station called Prospect Cove, nor about the proposed apartment complex or upper 42 on the east side of the Marathon gas station. I just don't have any additional information. So that's my report.
Thank you. Any questions?
What were they shouting? What were they shouting in the cars?
What were they shouting? I don't know what they were shouting. I was home in bed. I have no idea what they were shouting. I just read everything that the chief told me. And feel free to call the chief and talk to him. Somebody fired 10 gunshots in the air. I hope they were up in the air.
Yeah,
The
really.
thing of it is, we have a really good police force. And we also have really good relationships with other police forces, say St. Matthews, for example. However, it's my understanding, and Scott Reed has confirmed this with me today, that the mayor of Metro Louisville, Greg Fisher, has ordered his police to, quote, stand down. In other words, don't do anything. And if you have seen the pictures of the destruction that has been caused downtown, you get an idea of what's going on down there. They've broken windows in the courthouse, which I'm told costs $400 a piece to fix. It's all boarded up now. I don't know what else, but there's a lot of vandalism going on downtown.
Hey, Herb John, you're here.
Connie's waving at somebody. I don't know who.
Any other discussion on this point? We can get to Andrea's update. Do you have any comments about needs, Andrea?
Do I have any comments at all? Is that what you said?
Tree needs?
Oh, the tree needs.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I don't think I have any new comments. If you know me, I guess we'll get into the tree removal list, but I did paint all the bases of the trees that you're going to submit to Ron, or you have submitted, except for one. I don't think I have any new comments, no. Oh, I do have one comment, sorry.
Yes.
I noticed on 42, the state right of way, it's 2 more trees declining. They're located just east of, sort of in front of Brian Lavich's property. So they're about maybe 75 feet east of Fox Harbor Drive, and they're a state easement, the right of way, I should say. And one is about a 27-inch sycamore that's dead, and another one is about a 15-inch ash tree. So, with everybody's permission, I was going to notify the State Department of Highway representative and let her know. You know, I'm going to watch them and let her know about them so that they can be removed.
Whose responsibility are those trees?
It's the Kentucky Department of Highways, and it's their kind of arborist representative. And we've been contacting her before, and she's been pretty good about getting trees removed in the right of way. So I would just contact her again.
You think, Andrea, do you think that the board should take any action?
Well, they probably need to give me permission to do that, I suppose. Is that okay, Lee, and the rest of the board?
Yeah, I would certainly support it. I appreciate the initiative. Anybody else on the board?
No, I appreciate the effort as well.
Okay,
Right.
very good.
I
So
agree.
please go ahead and do it, Andrea. I just like to say that Andrea has done this before in the past, particularly in the area along 42 where she had the state remove some trees that were threatening the overlook and the highway. That was about a year or so ago.
Right.
Hey, Lee,
Yes, sir.
I've got one other thing I should have talked about. May I do that now?
Sure.
It just so happens that my working group focused on improving and making safer US 42. The two key people happen to be in this meeting, and that's Greg Hulsman and Herb Schulhafer. And I'd like to ask either or both of them to tell the rest of us where things stand with that effort.
Great. Yes, please.
Greg, would you like to do that?
Apparently Greg can't do it because he hadn't got any sound.
Yeah.
All right, does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is there a screeching noise, by the way?
No.
Yeah, I
Good.
Greg all the time. All the sounds coming to me are squeaky.
Okay, that might be coming from my computer, and I apologize. Can you all tolerate it for a while I give this report?
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
And when I get finished, I'll sign off and see if I can get it fixed. So we approached KIPTA, that's the Kentucky Indiana Planning and Development Agency, to ask for funding to do the US 42 safety improvement project. And basically that was lighting rumble strips in the center part of US 42 on the downhill curvy section from I-265 as you come into Harrods Creek, and then also guardrails which are seriously too low and really not effective at all. They turned us down because there was only $28 million against a $50 million request from all the different cities in this particular area. So we didn't quite make the top 7. However, they did say that they liked our proposal and they understand the needs of US 42 and the impact upon US 42. And they're many and they're great. So they came back with an offer.
We came in number 8, didn't we?
We did. We came in number 8. So they came back with
it's like the guy that invented 6-Up. He didn't have a winner, but look how close he came.
So the offer came back from KIPTA was a grant to do a planning study, which after many conversations, Mayor Evans accepted that grant. Now, let me quickly add that doesn't tie the council's hands. Of course, they will have to approve that because it's a funding issue at some point in time. but the amount of the grant was $375,000. Now, they don't think it'd take that much. It could be somewhere around 250K, something like that. They just don't know. But their experience is that it would take somewhere between 250 and say 350, 375 to do everything. So the nice thing about that is that since John has approved that, to go ahead and ask for that grant, at least that way, experts will come back and tell us, well, yeah, you maybe just don't need lighting, but maybe you need other things. Like maybe you need a roundabout at Timber Ridge at US 42. I don't know what they're going to say, but whatever it will be a full-blown study that will take many, many months. And the answer then will be presented to us for our own decision-making on what to do.
Yeah, let me add a little bit. First of all, this is basically a 2-mile stretch from from I-265 all the way to the exit drive of Hunting Creek. So it basically every subdivision that enters 42 is affected pretty much. The thing about they told us from the beginning, we started in November, so this has been a lot of effort. That we were rookies, and they talked in terms of a planning study at the beginning, and we really thought we didn't need to do that. But this is opinion. If you want the key to unlock the door, you better have the planning study. Now, we gave them figures, estimates, but to call like this, we are rookies. We were not an engineering planning firm that they have relied on many times. And so how much did they really trust our estimate? I could see like saying, well, they're good people and they write a good application, but what we will get out of this is this expertise from someone that's worked with KIPTA. And so, I mean, our estimate ended up right shy at $4 million. And I will admit, it was a high figure. I definitely didn't want us to be red faced. So it'll be interesting. And of course, we concentrated on no avenues. We didn't. And so this way, it'll be comprehensive. It isn't like they go away and do this study. The working group will be involved. And I'll tell you one thing, the working group would definitely want community input. So through this process, it'll be much more known to the community, what we're trying to do. I think most people in the community have understand the excessive speed on 42. And, it has created fatalities, and we're concerned about future fatalities. And so anyway, it was a no, but, and I'll take a no, but every day over a no. So we will need the council support. But first of all, they're going to put in for this grant. It's not, July 23rd, I think we will find out if they actually approve this study grant, because they're kicking in 80% of it. So anyway, we knew if it was going to be turned down, that we just weren't going to climb in a hole and disappear. This way, which may very easily have been a much smaller scope, which I don't think really is in the best interest of safety for people. I think at least the 3 things we addressed, and maybe in this study will be different things. We're going to go in and just tell us what you think this to make US 42 safer. And let's hope some innovative ideas come that will. The transportation cabinet's not too interested in slowing people up from getting home, but we are interested in people slowing up so they get home safely.
Just want them to get home.
Get home safely. So it's so we'll keep you posted. So
Thank you both. These two gentlemen have worked very hard and very successfully, I think, on this whole project for the last 7 months, and it would not have gone anywhere without both of them.
Well, it's been a good committee. It's been. If you don't know Sarah Odell, who's fairly new resident in Hunting Creek and is running for council, She was very, very helpful, very smart person.
Well, very good, I would say. You guys have made a lot of progress, and thanks to Sarah Odell also.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the tree removal status. But Greg, are you still on the line?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm muting myself because I think my computer is somehow creating some sort of noise. So, but I'm here.
I just wanted to say, if you're interested to attend all Forestation Board meetings, we'll be sure to notify you.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, and the next one will be our regular meeting date, which is that's what I'm going to propose. It's actually item 8 on the agenda, uh, which is the second Tuesday in July, probably at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. So I'll send a notice out.
Okay, good.
The
Is that going to be in person or?
probably it's going to be another virtual meeting.
We should try Zoom. I've never had problems with Zoom like we're having with this one.
We're not set up for that though, Connie.
Oh, that's too bad.
What was that, John?
We are not set up for Zoom.
Okay, it's pretty easy. I've done.
Well, it also costs money.
You only get 45 minutes for free. Then you have to get off and get back on again.
Okay, so we'll stick with WebEx. The next item is the tree removal status. Andrew went out and marked the trees which have been recommended for approval. We've actually been discussing these trees for several months. I sent a list of them, an updated list out this morning to all the members and to Ron. And then I delivered to City Hall the tree action request form that the city uses. Ron, are you on the line? Could you hear that? Maybe not. Okay.
Ron's gone.
Ron's gone. Okay.
He said he had to leave early.
Okay. Any case, he has all the information and the form filled out to the best of my knowledge and ability. Okay. So maybe we'll get some of these trees out of here. And we still had about $2,000 left in the 2019-20 budget, but there's only a few more days left to spend that money, but maybe some of it could be spent. And then, as the mayor said, the budget will roll over, and we have in that budget $7,500 for tree removals, and Ron has another $7,500 for tree removal. So there's money, and not so many trees that belong to the city to be taken out. Any other comment on that issue?
Yeah, Lee, let me add something. Am I
That will
correct?
that will start on July 1st, by the way.
Lee,
Yes, sir.
am I correct? With our arborist, we're to identify the tree. And do we need to get approval? And then we're to get the bids. And then the city takes over. And
Ron said at the last meeting that he would determine what trees needed to be bid on, and I believe Andrea volunteered to ask some vendor to bid on such trees, but we're waiting for Ron to say which one he needs. It's possible that the city could take out most of these trees with city staff, and there'd be no bids.
Some of the trees, yeah, some of the trees, not all. But there's some smaller trees, so it might be that Ron would deem the city staff could take them out. We'll see. We have to wait for Ron to get back with us, I think, Herb, is the next step.
There's one little thing I hope we can get changed. What I was told is, okay, we do this work, and then Ron implements it by actually telling the people to go do the job. but we don't get informed of when that's happening and who's happening and exactly if we only have X amount of money in the budget, but we have 2X amounts of cost for trees, we don't really, so I cannot understand if we do all that work. Now we can't have the decency, maybe that isn't the right word, to at least be informed when it's gonna happen. And so we're not just sitting here doing this work and then all of a sudden we ride by and see or don't see it being done. So
Well, in the past too, to add to what you're saying, I've met with the contractor of choice that the board approves and met them on site to be sure, they know which trees they are and any particulars about the removals, and then I report back to you all.
okay.
That's
So,
It would be good if I could, we could continue to do it that way with Ron's okay. So we'll have to see, I guess.
Those are both good comments. And we can ask Ron to let us know when the work is scheduled, and then Andrea could show up and would know what happened.
Mhm.
Just to touch base with them to be sure, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
well, I'll
Yeah.
go back to my background. I put things on paper, but that was just a piece of it. I wanted to see it built, and so, I like everybody else on the board here, we're willing to do the work, but we I guess I'm gonna use the word respect. We should get enough respect to know when our actions are either going to be implemented or not implemented. So
That's true. And in this case, it'll be good to know who's going to do what, which trees are going to be taken out by a contractor and which ones we should bid and which ones we don't need to bid. So.
And it gives us accountability so we know what actions have been taken and what we need to follow up on.
Right.
nice diplomatic way to say that, Linda.
You dropped it off, Lee, so I'm sure, Ron will get back with you.
Right. Yes. I dropped it off before noon, and I didn't hear anything back from Ron, and before he set this meeting up, so it's probably fine. But what Herb has suggested, what you have suggested, Andy, is more follow up on what is actually going to be done and when it's going to be done. That's good.
Just so we can evaluate whether the work was done correctly,
Okay. If we're done with that item, the next item is the draft newsletter article, which I sent out. I did get a comment from Herb that we should add something related to tree water, which is in there, but to quantify the amount of water somehow that should be put on a tree. I think you suggested Herb running the hose for a few minutes, something like that.
Well, I'd always see where people say, you got to water the trees. And then I'd hear them say, well, you got to add an inch.
Right.
Well, it's hard when the water's coming out of your hose to measure an inch, or at least it was for me. So I remember asking enough people, and finally somebody said, look, if it's a dry condition, water which I did on my tree for 5 minutes a week. Just keep the hose.
Well, there's different ways to do that. I mean, it is hard because the weather's different. I would say new trees need to be watered a couple times a week if you're not getting any rainfall. A minimum of a good thorough watering. What some people do to get an inch of water, they'll put a hose and sprinkler out, and they'll actually put like a pie pit, like an aluminum pie tray. And when they get an inch in there, that's how they measure an inch of water. But not everybody's going to do that. But they just need to have their root balls thoroughly soaked a couple times a week. That's an average. I mean, if we have a drought condition like we did last fall, you might have to do it every other day, But the other thing I was going to mention on the newsletter article was, Lee, you mentioned in there, I don't have it in front of me, but about limbing trees up over sidewalks.
Yes.
I would just put another word or two to identify that those heights are for mature trees overhanging sidewalks. So, because, you know, you have a young tree, you're not going to limit feet or whatever, you know. So it has to be proportionate to the size of the tree. Those heights are more for, you know, mature trees overhanging.
Yes.
13 feet or 8 feet or whatever.
Yeah. That,
Could I make a comment along those same lines, Andrea?
Yes, of course.
If you come up Hunting Creek Drive, you know, the snaky part that go going up the
Your
hill.
scenic hill, probably.
Yeah, there are a number of trees that are overhanging the road, and they really should be cut back.
Yeah, I think some of those are actually have some low branches too that maybe
Yeah,
don't.
that's what I mean.
Right.
They're
Right.
out over the road and they're too low.
Well,
And
maybe what we could do is when Ron gets back to us on the list of trees he wants us to bid on the removal list, we could get those contractors to bid on doing some work on those trees, because I've noticed that.
I wish you
Leave
would,
them up and
especially
get them out of the
since,
street.
yeah, especially since when we start over on July the 1st, you're going to have some money to do that.
Okay. I'll make a note of that and then we'll take care of that. And then,
That'd be great.
okay.
what location on Hunting Creek Drive, more or less, those bushes and trees?
Going up the hill.
It's near the Scenic Hill intersection that I'm thinking of. There's a couple maples and then there's like
That'd be going
two.
down that Scenic Hill. That'd be going down the hill. But if you go up the hill, say from where the hill starts, after you've passed that long flat stretch and it starts uphill,
Okay.
between there and where you turn right to go into the Hunting Creek Club, that stretch in there, there are several of them that are hanging over the road.
Okay. I know where you mean.
Andrea, will you tell me when you want me to start tracking the rainfall again?
Sure. I mean,
Just let me know.
okay, all right. Well,
It's
looks like we're gonna get
It's
some
wonderful
rainfall
that we
over
have
there.
our own rain gauge.
I know, we have a personal rain gauge person, rain monitor.
I think we better give Connie a title.
We should. An official title.
Oh, the chief meteorologist.
Oh, goody.
Okay, anything else on the article?
I don't have anything. I thought it was good, Lee.
Okay, I'll try to stick something in there about the watering and about the heights are applied to mature trees. The next item is more for the mayor than anybody else. It's I was looking at our tree guide and I noticed that on the back, we list all the members of the Forestation Board and we have Christy on there, Christy Kramer, who served for many years, a great contributor, but we don't have Sylvia on there. And the council has never voted on Sylvia, and they should, but this would be a mayoral request to council, not from Forestation Board.
Take care of it.
Okay, thank you. The next meeting, the next meeting date, as I said, our regular meeting date will be the second Tuesday in July. Does anybody have a big problem with that?
It's the second Tuesday in July, Lee?
Yeah, second Tuesday. We normally, if you look at the city calendar, we're supposed to meet the second Tuesday of the month.
Hey, Lee,
Sure.
could you send me an email just at your convenience and list all the people who are on or should be on the Forestation Board? For instance, you tell me that Sylvia has never been nominated or approved by the city council, but obviously, say Linda Knox has been. So could you just give me a status list of?
Right. I'll do that. I think Sylvia actually was nominated, but then there was never any vote taken.
Well,
And it was about a year ago now, you know?
I can't account for the things that the council does or doesn't do, but I'll try.
Okay.
Yeah, I know she was mentioned. I thought it was already through. What time is that meeting on the 14th of July?
We would probably 3 o'clock, but we can make it any time that the board wants.
I'll be out of town on July 14th.
Is that Connie that was speaking?
Sylvia,
Sylvia,
Yeah.
are you going to be back any near that date at all?
it'll probably be in the evening. I mean, I can call, I'll be driving, I can call in, but I won't be able to do like a video participation, so.
Well, maybe you could do it the following Tuesday or something, Lee. I don't know.
Okay with me. That'd be the 21st.
That'll work with me.
Will you be back then, Sylvia? On the 21st?
No,
No.
so I'll be back, I'm out the 10th, I'm back on the 14th, out again the 16th, back on the 21st.
So we want to make
But in all that, you know, I can call by phone. I have to go. The health inspector waiting for me, so I have to go. Just pick a day. You know, if I can't do it on WebEx or Zoom, I can call in if you give me a number.
okay.
Okay.
We'll,
All right,
we'll
thank
just,
you.
we'll just stick to the regular schedule, the 14th, if it's okay with everybody else.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Okay, and there's one small, at least technical reason for doing that. That if we meet on a regularly scheduled day, we can amend the agenda during the meeting. If we have a special meeting, such as we're having today, at least technically, we can only discuss what's on the agenda. You know?
Right. Now, what hour?
3 o'clock.
3.
Does that work for everybody else?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we'll make it 3 p.m. Okay,
14th, 3 p.m., right.
I'll send a note out. Anything else that's related to the agenda items?
Can I just ask?
Well, the one thing I think, if next year's if last year's budget is the budget for this year,
Yes, sir.
you know, there wasn't any money for tree planting.
No, and there's no money for signs or tree labels either.
So but back to tree planting, our game plan was, you know, until the virus, we were going to go to the council for that community development money. And that $25,000 fund so anyway, we will need to talk about whether we want to do that again. If we want to do the planning that we have laid out in Cali Park and other places.
Well, that money is still there. And as long as we're operating under the current year's budget, as opposed to a new budget, that money is in the budget. And you can go to the council and ask them to do it.
Yeah.
Now, I can't tell you until it happens what is going to be in the new budget. I don't know if there'll be a $25,000 pot of money in the new budget until the council passes a budget. But right now and for the next few weeks, that still exists. So if you're going to make a plea to the council to use some of that money, I would recommend that you do it at the next regular meeting, which will be on the third Monday in July.
The third Monday. I'd written down July 7th.
That's the special meeting, Lee.
Okay.
There's a special meeting on the 7th for very, very particular purposes. The main one being further consideration of the new budget.
Okay.
But there are 3 things on that special meeting. This is not one of them.
Okay.
The regular meeting happens on the third Monday of the month, and you could come to that council, and we probably, I don't know for sure, because I don't know when they're going to pass a new budget. They might even do it that night. I don't know. But as long as we're under this year's budget, that money is still there to be asked for.
Well, the only problem with that, or you let me know though, is that if they ask for the money for that project, out of that money, at that council meeting, they wouldn't want to actually spend it till the fall. Is that possible, or would it have to be spent this summer?
I don't
know.
see why, I don't see
The
why there'd
special
be any
fund
time
is in-
restraints. As long
It
as
would
we
have to
spend
be,
it in that
it would
year.
have to be, it would have to be invoiced before the new budget comes in.
Yeah, see, we don't want to plant trees in the summer. I mean, that wouldn't be
That
good.
wouldn't work.
No.
I guess they'll have to wait and see what the new budget's gonna have.
And when that's going
Say
to
that
happen.
the planting plan that we had, for, as I recall, 17 trees in Cawley and various meetings, that is in the tree plan we just approved.
Yeah.
Cool. So, but there is a clause that says if funding is available. So we're still hung up on the funding, but the tree plan has that specific sub-plan, you might say, that we proposed last year.
Well,
I
having
think,
the
yeah,
plan,
let's wait,
having the
let's wait,
plan
'cause
having the plan approved is one thing. Having the money appropriated to accomplish the plan is a different thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we're finished here.
Connie, you were starting to say something.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure this is the right moment, but I have to know, since we've got Greg here and John here, and does anybody know anything about the sidewalk issue? Has that moved forward at all?
What sidewalk?
Any sidewalk you want, along 42, along River Road. Whenever I walk to Kroger's, there are other people doing it too, and you just have, it's a little dangerous, but we do it.
It's not even been addressed, Connie.
Oh, that's too bad.
It might come out of the planning study, who knows?
Mhm.
Well, keep it in mind if you would.
Well, precisely where do you want the sidewalk to go?
All along 42 would be great. I know it would feel more like a community if we could all walk together and, visit and bicycle. And I mean, you can't walk to anything right now, really. I'm not going to.
I will say what Greg said about this. The planning study is called a transportation planning study. And all what we found out, it's strictly not for vehicles. It does affect pedestrians and bicycle users. So there may be something come out of it. Like I said, there's going to be public, I'll use the word hearings, but probably not the right word, but public meetings to get input from Prospect residents. So if that's one place to voice that concern, that it would make it a better city.
Thank you. Well, if you notice the other small cities, like J-Town, the beautiful sidewalks all through J-Town, and I think they have the look that we're trying to aspire to. A friendly place, not something you zoom by on 42 trying to get home. Okay, that's all I'll say. Please keep it in mind.
We will.
Thanks to everybody for being on this meeting and contributing so much.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take it you're adjourned.
Yes.